Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. Post-market wrap-up on this Friday, May 31st, 2019. People, the stock market got hit today. Dow fell about 354 points. I mean, nothing dramatic, and I explained to you why earlier today the stock market didn't fall 500 points or more than that. It is simply on hope or promise that there's going to be a rate cut. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. 25 basis points in this environment won't cut it. I was on the phone last night with your friend and mine, Greg Hunter, for quite a while. And I explained to him, and we both discussed, and he agrees. A 50-point cut to the federal funds rate is what this market is hoping for. This week, a few days ago, I did a video where I explained to you that we're experiencing a collision here between two moving objects. One of them is much larger than the other. I'm referring to the debt market. The debt market is leaps and bounds larger by exponents than the stock market, and they're slamming together. You can see here with the 10-year yield, it just hit 2.13. It's affecting the stock market. There's no doubt about it. We knew a moment like this was going to happen. None of us knew, not even me. There's no way to predict when it would happen because there are so many moving parts to this. There are so many variables, so many dynamics. But this area here with the 10-year yield seems to be the inflection point for the stock market. Now, again, like I explained earlier, the yield curve looks like this right now. The longer end of the curve, the 30-year, 10-year, these are all coming down while the short end of the curve is higher. Now, to prevent a full-on inversion of the 30-year coming down, a rate cut has got to be instituted here. Again, look, let me put another perspective on this for you. I know many people refuse to see the light, even if they were staring at the sun. But the facts are very straightforward. The U.S. economy right now, regardless of who's sitting in the White House, because it's not about one man or one woman, it's about all of us. The United States economy is failing, and I mean failing hardcore. All you need to look at is one thing. The money velocity, the rate at which cash is moving through our economy. Go to the Federal Reserve's own website. You will see a chart there which will show you that the money velocity is stuck. It's doing nothing, and not only is it stuck, it's stuck at historic lows, very close to historic lows. Everything around us right now has been built on the back of exploding debts and deficits. Period. It's an illusion. It's not real. And being that we're in an environment here where rates have been artificially suppressed for over a decade, it's very difficult for even me to imagine the magnitude of the distortions that exist across the spectrum of asset classes. Like I explained to you yesterday or the day before, the last meltdown of 2008, the Fed stepped in at Dow 6,000 to stop the bleeding in the stock market. No one knows where the bottom is. It's literally an abyss. It may be Dow 2,000. We don't know. No one is smart enough to know that. And I don't care what you might think or what any of these talking heads might think. And I know a lot of them do watch this. A lot of the guys from CNBC, Fox, Bloomberg, they watch my work. I'm actually friends with a couple of these guys, so I know they watch my work. And I know you're watching my work. But they're not that dumb either. They understand. They may say one thing on these shows, but believe me, in conversations I have with some of these people out there who remain nameless, they get it. But they have to play the game. If they don't, you know what will happen. But again, it's the environment of lies that we are in. The biggest lie of them all is that this economy is booming. We're going nowhere. We have retail stores closing as fast as the last meltdown. the auto industry is melting down. Industrial production falling off of a cliff. Manufacturing falling off of a cliff. Again, consumer debt, personal debt, higher than it's ever been. People are struggling, but you're not allowed to know that. The illusion must be kept real, and it can only be kept real by borrowing more. That's why a rate cut must happen. Must happen. And it's got to happen soon. Maybe even the next Fed meeting. Because the yield curve has been screaming louder and louder for quite a while. And I have brought this to all of your attention for a long time. So this is no surprise to you. And I'm very proud of that. I am very, very proud to say that. Look, things right now, again, it's not just about the stock market. It's not just about money. It's not just about the debt market or the promise of IOUs, which is what debts is. It's incredible. It's about us in the bigger picture. And that's really what it comes down to for me, and why I'm here, why I sit here and do sometimes as much as 3 videos a day, like yesterday, to try to let people understand what's going on around them, because they are so distracted. They are so caught up in the divisiveness around us. People are refusing to come together, and they're buying the lies, the propaganda, the fake data. It makes them feel good to be lied to. I'm not saying this lightly. People enjoy it. They don't want to be stuck in a place where they feel uncomfortable. So they will accept the lies as truth. That is a fact, unfortunately. And a lot of people are stuck in it. But I think most people get it. I really do. Most people are understanding where we are, how this literally is, and I've said this exactly like this before. The U.S. economy is not just a stairway to heaven, truly, because when this comes down, we're really going to need each other, and it's going to come down no matter what they do, no matter how much the Federal Reserve cuts rates here to prop all of this up. All it's doing is putting Band-Aids on it. And it just makes the inevitable correction to fair value that much worse. The magnitude that much worse. It's going to hit people that much harder when this all corrects to fair value. Now, what's going to happen here, what's already is happening, again, look, China's not paying the tariffs. Mexico will not be paying the tariffs either. This is going to be born on the back of the U.S. consumer. We are not taking in any money at all. When you hear President Trump tell you that we're taking in $100 billion from China in these tariffs, it's a lie. It is a 100% falsehood. The trade gap eclipses that amount of money that he's taking in by about 3-fold. So we're actually losing several $100 billion. The same thing with Mexico. There is a huge trade gap there. We have a trade gap with Japan too. I mean, there are many countries around the world for which the United States has a trade gap with, and it's costing us all kinds of money. Now, of course, there's the perspective with regard to Mexico that these illegals, or people that are here illegally, are costing the United States economy money. That is a 100% fact. And I find it hard to believe that anyone can argue that. But this is not a zero-sum game here. What we're witnessing here with these tariffs from China alone, soon to be Mexico, starting June 10th, I think that's when they come into effect, is the U.S. consumer, if you live here in America, is going to be hit directly in your pocketbook. It's going to affect you directly. It's not the same thing when you're being hit in an indirect way. And this is when people are going to start to cry, when it hits their pocketbooks, when it hits them directly, when they have to struggle more to make ends meet. Then they start to say something, but by that point, it's too late. It is too late. Now, I am not saying that things don't need to be done on the border. I've admitted this a gazillion times, but people still need to hear it. Here it is. I'm admitting it again. Yes, something needs to be done over there. And do these trade imbalances need to be fixed? Absolutely. But in my opinion, and I've covered this at length and I won't do it again, the president is going about it the wrong way. There are other ways to do it. How many of you realize that trade agreements between those that will, if President Trump did anything, it would be fine? How many of you realize that trade agreements are done through the World Trade Organization by their participating partners, for which the United States is? Probably don't even know that. You think that a president can do this unilaterally, I bet, because the president doesn't tell you that that's not the way it works. Again, he lies by omission on such a scale that it is beyond belief. It's really the truth. Look, so the bottom line is this. The U.S. economy is a house of cards built on top of a pool of gasoline. It is failing in a hardcore way. It appears that it's okay because we are exploiting our debts and deficits. That's it. The lies, the propaganda, and the fake data is all that's keeping people outside my window here believing things are okay. And it's always the same story. Up until the last days of World War II, the German people believed they were winning the war. Why? Because that's what they were being told. That's what they were being told over the media, whatever media existed back then, by their leaders. They believed they were winning the war. And it's the same thing here. History is repeating itself. It's really true. All right. So with that said, I'm going to do something I said I would. If all of you would share my last video and give me a thumbs up. I'm going to attempt something here with a new guitar. This is kind of like my workhorse. I won this in a poker game. Nothing too fancy, but it's nice. It's kind of like my, I don't know, my friend that I go back to once in a while. Anyway, so I'm going to play this song for you. And I hope it comes out okay because I did not rehearse this. This is just going to be kind of out of my head. I believe you know the words. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stars are all closed. With her words, she can't get what she came for. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let me try that again. One more time. Ooh, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. Anyway, you get it. I'll play a little more for you. Anyway, I hope that was enjoyable for you. It's Friday, people. It's Friday. That means I'm going to leave you off with what I always do. Love each other, care about each other, and be charitable. It's really all that matters in this twisted environment. This guy loves you, and I'll see you over the weekend at one point to do my markets. A look ahead.